Now we will do a small demo on mobile forensics. Today we will see how data is acquired and analyzed from a mobile phone. So we just open the software and provide it with the administrator access. It takes a few seconds to load. After it opens, you need to click on create an account. Click on default user at the top right corner and then click on add new user. You will have to fill a form with details like name, organization, department, and if you want to upload a profile pic. Finally, click on create to create the user. After the user is created, just choose the user and click on switch. Now we can move on to the acquisition process. Click on acquire at the top left corner and it will open another window on screen. There you will have 4 options: smartphone, feature phone, SD or UFS memory or USIM. The device being used right now for demonstration is Xiaomi Poco F1. It is a smart device and runs on Android operating system. There are other operating systems available as well, for example iOS, Windows and BlackBerry. Now you will see a list of supported brands. For demo we will choose Xiaomi. Now after selecting the brand, you will get a list of models. If your model is mentioned in the list, you can choose that. If not, then choose the first option, which is Android generic. This option is valid for all models. For our demo, we will choose Android generic since Poco F1 is not mentioned in the list. Now click on next. You will now move on to a new tab where the software will give you 3 options. Option 1, ADB disk. Option 2, ADB backup, custom app, and option 3 is routing one disk. We will choose option 2, which is ADB backup custom app. If we click on it, it will notify us that it is going to install an app on the device to extract SMS and call history data. It is completely safe to install it. Click on OK. In the next tab, it is asking us to enable USB debugging option on our smartphone. In order to do that, one needs to go to about phone, then click look for an option called build number or MIUI version. MIUI version is only applicable to Xiaomi phones. For other brands, you will get an option called build number. Now tap on that option for at least 7 times until you get an option that you are a developer. Then you need to look for an option in settings called developer options. Open it and then look for USB debugging and enable it. It will show a warning message. Click on OK or accept. Now back at your machine, you need to click on next. Now you need to connect your mobile phone to your system via a USB cable. Once connected, at the mobile phone you will get 3 options. Choose no data transfer from the list. At your system, you will be able to see your device in the table. Select the device and click on next. After that, you need to fill up a form with the details of the investigator and case number. The details required are investigator's name, organization, department and case number. These details will be used to generate a report at the end. After you fill up, just click on next. Now the acquisition process has started. Firstly, the software on the system is going to install an app on the mobile phone. You need to give permission on the phone to continue with the installation. As you can see, it is asking for permission, so we will click on install and give all the necessary permissions. The app gets installed and opens up. There we will click on OK. Now in the system we can see a list of all the apps available on the mobile phone. It is going to scan all of them, and also it is going to scan media data which is present in internal SD card. Click on OK. It has detected a few apps installed on this demo device, for example Firefox, Skype, Telegram, Truecaller and WhatsApp. It is going to downgrade these apps to an older version in order to retrieve data from them. There is nothing to worry, since after the data retrieval process is over, it is going to upgrade them back to normal without any data loss. As you can see on the system, it says waiting for device. What it actually did is created a backup of the apps that it is going to downgrade and has rebooted the device. After the reboot is successful, unlock the device and reconnect it. As you can see, the system is asking us to unlock the screen lock, disconnect the phone and reconnect it. So we have unlocked the screen, disconnected the device from the system and reconnected it back to the system after a 3 seconds wait time. If at this point your USB debugging option is disabled, then you need to enable it again by following the same procedure how I explained it earlier. As you can see that the phone is connected to the system, the software has started to install the downgraded version of the apps as mentioned before. However, it is going to ask us permission for the same. So whenever we get a notification for installation on the phone, just click on install. Now all the downgraded version of the mentioned apps are installed on the phone. Now the system is requesting us to click on backup my data on the phone whenever the option is prompted. As you can see, we get two options, backup my data and do not backup. So we will click on backup my data. The data acquisition process will begin after the backup is complete. The time taken for acquisition might vary from device to device based on your system configuration. For our case, it took 45 minutes and the acquisition process is complete now. Now it is moving on to cleanup process. It will uninstall the downgraded versions of the apps that were previously installed and also the app that is installed on its own. Then it will restore all the apps back to normal. Once everything is done, just click on close. The acquisition part is over. Now we move on to the analysis part. In the next tab, click on all the options and click on next. The system is going to generate a human readable format of the report. Then click on next. After that, it is going to generate a hash of the data. Next, it shows a list of options which it is going to display in a simple format. Just check the options that you are looking for. For demo purposes, we check them all and click on next. The output generation takes a few minutes. After that, just click on finish. The system will also generate a prompt of whether you want to run a SQLite DB or not. For our demo, we are not going to run, so we will click on cancel. Now let us analyze the results. At first, we will see a list of all the images that has been recovered. These images were either deleted via a certain app or have been deleted automatically when an app was uninstalled. The application was able to recover the thumbnails for these images. Next, we can see a table of deleted WhatsApp data, which can be WhatsApp messages, it can be WhatsApp images, videos or voice notes. The application was able to recover deleted data from WhatsApp. The content in red are all deleted files. We will also be able to see the call log, which includes incoming, outgoing and missed calls. The details visible are the caller ID, contact name if visible, date and time of the call operation. We can also see all the SMS stored in the mobile phone's internal memory. The details include the sender or receiver's ID, the date and time of sent or received messages along with the message content and other details. In this way, this application has displayed all the information it was able to gather from the evidence. Now we need to prepare a documentation of all the findings. So we will need to generate a report. In order to do that, we click on Export Report at the top. You can see the details of the investigator at the top, like investigator name, organization and department. Other than that, there are other information like case number, name and other relevant details. Then we need to select a name of items that we need to add to the report. Some of the important data that should be mentioned in the report are call logs, SMS, WhatsApp messages, deleted files and so on. This application provides you a report in mainly two formats, Excel and PDF. By default, both the formats are selected. We are going to uncheck the Excel format since we will generate the report in PDF format only. Then we click on OK. The report generation process will start. It will take some time to generate the report. Once the report is generated, it will automatically open the folder where the report is stored. You can then double click on the report to open it and view its contents. The report is loaded. Let us now see what are the contents of the report. As you can see here, the investigator details are mentioned along with case information and analysis information. Next, we can see details of the device we investigated on. For example, here we can see it was a Xiaomi device running on Android platform. We can get the dumped image information. The application also generated a SHA-256 hash of the image and the original device. It also verified the integrity of the image. In this way, all the information gathered by the application will be mentioned in the report. The report can be submitted to other authorities appointed by law for further investigation if needed. Now we are going to discuss the statutory framework under which a mobile phone can be seized. Police is a state issue in India. However, investigatory powers of police officers across India are regulated through a federal law. It is known as the Criminal Procedure Code 1973 CRPC. Among other things, the CRPC details show searches and seizures are to be conducted for, inter alia, the purposes of criminal investigations. Besides the power to conduct a personal search upon arrest, these following provisions are of specific relevance in our context. Section 91 of CRPC. This confers concurrent powers upon police and magistrates to compel any person to produce any document or other thing that is necessary or desirable for the purpose of any investigation, inquiry, trial or other proceeding under this code. Section 93 CRPC confers power on a court to issue a search warrant if it considers that a person will not produce a document or a thing as directed under section 91 CRPC, or where the document or thing is not known to be in the possession of any person, or where the purposes of any inquiry, trial or other proceedings under this code will be served by a general search or inspection. Section 94 CRPC confers power to issue a warrant to authorize the search of any place suspected to contain stolen property, forged documents and so on as mentioned in the section, and take certain actions in respect of the same. Section 165 CRPC confers power upon a police officer, the power to conduct a warrantless search of a place if he has reasonable grounds for believing that anything necessary for the purpose of an investigation into any offence may be found in such place and that such thing cannot be otherwise obtained without undue delay. In the exercise of this power, the police officer is required to record in writing the grounds for such belief and as far as possible the thing for which search is to be made. It is clear then that the police have powers to go ahead and search or seize a mobile phone with or without a warrant, but in the latter case are required to record reasons in writing for such search. Section 91 CRPC applies to things, and an order can be passed directing a person to produce his or her mobile phone where police thinks it is necessary and desirable for an investigation. It is also possible to imagine a mobile phone being the target of a specific search warrant under section 93 CRPC or an item that is seized during a general search authorized under that provision. And finally are the seizure powers of section 102 CRPC, which do not need a prior warrant and empowers police to seize any item found in circumstances raising suspicion of the commission of an offence. In a vast majority of cases, when the police are seizing a mobile phone and ask the person to unlock it, that person simply complies. But obviously, there have been cases where this does not happen, in which case law enforcement agencies needs some legal basis to get the mobile phone unlocked. In comparison to the legal framework that allows for seizing a phone, we find that statutory basis for compelling a person to unlock the mobile phone is less clear. Now, as per the previous provisions, section 91, 93 and so on, besides a requirement in section 100 CRPC that persons who are residing in or in charge of a place must assist the police, there is nothing similar in respect of logged things that might be sought for or searched or seized by police. As seen in practice, the most common practice is for police to simply demand passcodes during interrogation or questioning. The powers to examine witnesses during investigations under section 161 CRPC require that all persons answer truly all questions put by the officer except those which would have a tendency to expose the person to a criminal charge or to a penalty or forfeiture. I would like to conclude here. Technological development in India is going to be highly dependent on mobile communication technology. The prime benefit of mobile technology and services is providing reachability to all sectors of the subscriber's choice. New devices and services are being introduced rapidly. These are more smart and powerful in terms of computing capability, storage capacity with scalability and portability in size. The advantages make this technology frequently adaptable to every group of people. The influence and rapid development in this technology pose a serious security challenge. High dependency on technology ensures its involvement in users' activities. It holds true for mobile technology in respect to crime. The amount and quality of data associated with mobile devices and services should be valuable in any investigation. Therefore, mobile forensics is important for law enforcement and investigators alike, as it aims at professional and legally acknowledged methods for analysis. Thank you.